Hello.
Hi, Daria. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. We usually start in practice session, but this launched, so we've started recording. Um, so
Sounds great.
yeah. So we'll just wait until a little after 6. There's already a few participants that have come in, but we'll just give them a chance.
What's your thought on the Q&A? How do you want to do that?
So if you want, I'll recognize people as they raise their hand. If you want to answer questions after the presentation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, probably after the presentation is better.
Okay. Yep. And we'll see how long we go. And obviously I know the last slide has all the information for contact as well if people want to follow up with questions.
Yep. I'm going to share that page, and I also brought up the program page just to show people that there's lots of information there, and then everybody can get their stuff answered. How's my sound?
It sounds great.
Perfect. I think we're in great shape. So you'll do the introductions.
Yep.
Perfect. I don't expect I'll go more than maybe 25 minutes.
Okay, perfect.
Just want to scroll through, just make sure everything's lined up. How much focus should I do on the renewable part?
I mean, you've got the time. I think it'd be good for people to understand what their options are.
Great. Yeah. Perfect.
Okay.
We're in good shape.
I'll be right back. Okay, I think I have just about 6 o'clock. So for those who have logged on, you got to see a little bit in the background there. We didn't recognize that we were going to be broadcasting yet, but I'm Greg Catamatori, the planning director with the City of Gloucester. And we welcome you to this informational session on the Community Electricity Aggregation Program. For folks that many of you may be familiar with this, as we're entering into the second contract, a second 3-year contract to renew the Community Electricity Aggregation Program. And as Daria Mark from Good Energy will also provide in a presentation, about over 10,000 customers in Gloucester have been participating in the program pretty steadily for the last 3 years. So for many, this may be old news, but also with some new news on the renewing of the program. So I'm going to introduce Daria Mark from Good Energy. They have been our consultant that has assisted the city for now probably a little bit over 5 years or 6 years as we developed our first aggregation program and then went to bid to secure our first 3-year contract. And then we did the same this past June to develop the program that will start in this December. So I will turn it over to Daria to provide a presentation about the nuances of the program, and then I think we'll have ample time to try to answer folks' questions after the presentation.
Thank you, Greg, for that wonderful introduction. So I'll go through some slides and then we'll do a Q&A. So please write down your questions. And also, if you brought your National Grid electricity bill with you or could find it in an easy way, some of the things I say will make a lot more sense if you're able to take a look at what you have. So please get it handy. Just don't get too distracted from all the materials that we're presenting with the other things you have going on. All right, so for electricity, there are two parts to your electricity supply. To your electricity, there's supply and delivery. Delivery always stays with the utility. So you're still going to call National Grid if there's a power outage. They still service the wires outside and all the infrastructure that it takes to deliver electricity to you. And they also send you a single bill. So supply and delivery show up on your National Grid bill together. So whether you participate in the program or not, and this is really important, you still get a bill that looks pretty much the same. There is one small nuance that I'll share later. So you can tell if you're a participant or not, and then what option you have chosen. So 2 parts to your electricity, supply and delivery. And if you take a look at your electricity bill, you'll see there's a supply services section and a delivery services section. So the program doesn't impact delivery at all. So those costs are unaffected. But the program does give you a good option for the supply portion. So in general, in Massachusetts, when you first open an electricity account, and in Gloucester specifically, you're automatically signed up for National Grid supply. They call it, in Massachusetts, we call that default supply. It's called basic service. Basic service rates, you'll see at the bottom of all my slides because the Department of Public Utilities requires that we notify you of this. Basic service rates change every 6 months. So when I share rates about the program, really important to know, we know the rates coming now until April, but we don't know the rates after that. So I can't guarantee savings past that, but obviously I can tell you certainty, the comparison with the utility right now for the program. So when you first open an electricity account in Gloucester, whether you're new to town or just moved within the city, you're automatically signed up for National Grid. After that, you have a choice. So there's some competitive suppliers out there. You probably received calls or some kind of letters or some kind of, there's all these different marketing materials they use. I have put a big question mark here because there's a lot of questions with competitive suppliers, and maybe some of you have been following. The Attorney General has been weighing in on this, and especially the millions of dollars that customers have lost with competitive supply. So you have to be very careful there. And then there's a better option, and that's your city's program. So that's Gloucester CA, or Gloucester Community Electricity Aggregation. And you'll see also on every slide, I have a link to the program page. It's gloucester-cea.com. So here's your 3 options, and we're going to talk about the city's program that gives a good choice for you for your electricity supply. You are not alone if you're a participant here, and Gloucester is not alone in running this kind of program. Over 160 similar programs have been approved in Massachusetts, including your neighbor Hamilton and lots of others. And in Gloucester itself, there's more than 10,000 participants in the program at the three different options that we have. Altogether, more than 10,000 people participate and get their electricity supply through the Gloucester CA program. So as Greg mentioned, the program has been renewed. It's been running now, and it's been renewed for another 3 years. So what does it mean when we renew? We go out and we get more, we procure for this electricity supply for the next 3 years. So as you may remember, I mentioned that the National Grid rates, that's for residential customers, are going to change every 6 months. So every 6 months, you're going to get a change. Sometimes you might have noticed that your bills some have changes, even though you feel like, I didn't really use that much electricity differently from the month before. Well, that's because the electricity rates change. one of the big benefits of the program is that the program rates do not change, and they're set until December 2024. So that's a really big benefit. So you know exactly, you could affect how much electricity you use with energy efficiency and those things, but the rate will stay the same. So that's a really big bonus. You can know exactly how much you're going to spend. So the program offers 3 different choices, and they're different by the amount of renewable energy that they contain. So there's Gloucester Local Green, which we call the standard, or you can also think of it as the default option. So when you're rolling in the program, if you don't do anything, you're likely, you will wind up in this option, the Gloucester Local Green. And that's the rate going forward, starting with your December meter read. Now, Gloucester Local Green used to have 5% extra renewable energy above what the state requires. But with this renewal, we were able to get 10% more renewable energy. So the price, I'll show you the comparison to previous, is almost the same, but we are getting twice as much renewable energy above what the state requirements are. Obviously, all of the options in the program meet the state requirements because that's what we need to do. But then how much above that can you go is what differentiates these products. So Gloucester Local Green has 10% more. The renewable energy in Massachusetts is bought through renewable energy certificates. So if you go to the program website, which again is gloucesterca.com, you'll see that we mentioned renewable energy certificates a lot. That's just how in Massachusetts, and actually in the region, and actually in the country, people trade and buy renewable energy. For those who are looking to do a little bit more on the climate, there's the Local Green 100%. So that matches 100% of your electricity usage with renewable energy from within New England. So if you're looking for a good climate positive option, that will source your electricity with the cleanest, closest electricity. And it's a great option for those of you who are looking to take that action. There's also Gloucester Basic. So Gloucester Basic is for those who maybe on a budget, or don't want additional renewable energy. That option meets the state requirements. So whatever the state requires that year, the Gloucester Basic has that renewable energy content, and it doesn't add anything extra. So it's kind of an apples to National Grid Basic service. And that's why the price is a little bit lower than what you'll see with Gloucester Local Green, which has that extra 10%. So again, as I mentioned, the rates are set starting with your December meter read. What's a meter read? It's when your electricity meter is read by the utility. If you're curious of what that date is, you can look at your National Grid bill, and it actually will tell you, like, this month's meter read is December 5th, or whatever it is for you. So these rates, if you're a participant, will start for you on that meter read. But please remember that electricity rates are always billed. Electricity costs are billed the month after you've used it. So when you open up your bill in December, it will still be for the electricity used in November. When you open up your bill in January, it will reflect the December change. So it'll reflect these December rates. I also have, for comparison, the National Grid Basic service. This is for residential customers. Residential just means your house or homeowner or renter, whatever it is. If you were not residential, you would know, you'd be more like a business or a large factory, things like that. So most of us are residential customers, and that's the rate. It's 14.8 cents. So you can see it's even higher right now for the next 6 months than the 100% local green. I'm sure many of you have read, there's been a lot of conversation articles about how much of electricity rates have increased in this year for different reasons. And this is, again, to underscore one of the benefits of the program is that the program rates stay stable. And so you don't get this yo-yoing between summer rates that tend to be a little bit lower to really high winter rates when electricity generation is competing with heating for natural gas. And then there's this, you could see a spike like this where you're going almost 15 cents to the kilowatt hour for residential customers. So that's through April 2022. And I did a calculation. The Department of Public Utilities uses 600 kilowatt hours per month as an average homeowner. Obviously for you, you can look at your bill and see how much you've been using. It's about, so the difference between National Grid and the local green option starting in December and going forward for the next 6 months will be about $22.50. So substantial difference there. There's value in the program. Again, just because the DPU requires that I say this all the time, when I ever say anything about the benefits or savings in the program, future savings can't be guaranteed because we don't know rates past April 2022. But you can see there's great savings to be had in the program right now. All right, so the next 3 years, what does a program renewal mean? No action is required from participants. Basically, what happens is we get a new supplier, and the supplier, the transition from the supplier is very smooth and it's done automatically. So we go from one supplier to the other. All you'll see is on your bill, you'll see a notice in December that says you've changed suppliers. So that basically means the program is changing suppliers, but there's really nothing that you need to do. Constellation New Energy is the new supplier for the program. You could choose the right product. So I said that there's 3 different choices in the program. You can choose the right product at any time. You can also change your mind later and switch around. You could leave the program at any time. There is no obligation. Your participation in the program is completely voluntary. And there's no penalty or fee of any kind now or at a later date for you to leave the program. And new electricity customers can join at any time. You might have seen sometimes maybe a neighbor has received a letter from the program that says, if somebody moves into Gloucester, they have as much a right to participate in the program as those who were here at the very beginning. And so we sent them a letter that says Gloucester has this great program. And then they can decide if they want to participate or not. And if they choose to stay, they get automatically enrolled. Okay, so how to tell what you have and how to tell if you're enrolled in the program. If you happen to have your bill with you handy, if not, this information is also on the program website. In the supply services section, you could take a look and it'll say supplier. If the bill you opened in December says the supplier is Direct Energy City of Gloucester, and the rate is one of the 3 that I'm showing on the right side, that means you're in the program and you could see what option you had chosen. So that's the bill you open in December. So Gloucester, most residents have been opening their bills right around this time. So if you want to take a look at that. And then when you open your January bill, you will be paying for the electricity you used in December. The next, this next 3-year period starts in December. So you'll see the new supplier. You will say Gloucester CA, which is the Community Electricity Aggregation Program. The new supplier will be listed there, Constellation New Energy. So it'll look like this. And you'll see one of the 3 options, one of the 3 rates that are shown here, which are the new rates. You can see that the Gloucester local green price effectively stayed at around 11 cents with a little bit of fraction there, even though we doubled the amount of additional renewable energy that we are adding. And then if you're looking at your National Grid bill right now, and it either says under the supplier, it says National Grid, or it says some other name, you're not part of the program. If it says National Grid or Basic Service, that means you're still on that default product that you got enrolled in when you first opened your account with National Grid. They're basically just getting supply for you on your behalf. If you have some other competitive supplier, the Department of Public Utilities wants you to know that, if you leave that supplier at a time before your contract with them ends, they may charge you a fee. So remember, the program does not have any fees, but competitive suppliers often have early termination fees or some other such thing that, they do with rates or termination. So the best thing you could do is your bill will say, if you have a competitive supplier or someone else, your bill will say who that supplier is along with the contact information of them. To give them a call, ask what rate you have and how long you're required to stay in there. You might be out of your contract period. You might still be in your contract period. And then, once you've settled that out, you're welcome to join the program, although you're welcome to join the program at any time. If you're with the National Grid or competitive suppliers, you can sign up. Just be careful of that termination fee. So a little bit about the local renewable energy that the program is sourcing. So the goal is to really support the cleanest sources. It's solar, wind, low impact hydro, and aerobic digestion. So actually in Gloucester, it's only wind. It's the wind turbines that you have in the city that are supporting that additional renewable energy in the program. And keeping your impact in New England, this energy is bought through Green Energy Consumers Alliance, and they really, they're a great nonprofit that really focuses on changing how we buy our electricity. As I said, the rates for National Grid went up a lot this winter because there's this great competition for natural gas. So getting us off of natural gas is a double whammy. First of all, it's important for the climate, but second of all, it's also important for our rates and keeping things stable. So if you have questions about the program, there are a lot of resources where you can get some answers. The best place to start is the Gloucester CA website. It's gloucester-ca.com. It's a website that where there's lots of information. So if you want to dig more into some renewable energy, or if you want to understand the program enrollment, or if you want to see even the program plan that basically describes how the program operates, are posted there. There's a contact us form. So you can send us a question. We love hearing from you. So let us know, something's not clear. We're happy to respond and explain what the program entails. On the website, you can also sign up for the 100% option. So as I mentioned earlier, you can shift products at any time. So you can sign up for the 100% if you're on the local green, you can get the 100%, you can get the basic. You can enroll in the program. You can also leave the program. There's forms for all of those things. There's a program phone number and an email where you can reach us directly. It's support_may@greenenergy.com. You can also call the program phone number. You can also call the supplier directly if you prefer not to use website forms, but want to enroll in the program, leave the program, or make a different choice. You want 100% or the basic. You can contact the supplier, Constellation Energy, directly. Their phone number is right there. And they also have an email, vsd@constellation.com. And I will stop here, leaving this slide up, just so folks have a chance to copy down any necessary information if you like. And I want to open it up to your questions. Anything about the program transition or the rates or renewable energy or anything else that is on your mind.
So we have, it looks like 10 attendees, and it looks like everybody is on either a computer or a mobile device. So if you have a question, you should see a little raise hand button in the bottom center of your screen. And if you have a question, you can just click on that raise hand, and then I'll recognize you and you can ask your question. We also will make this presentation available on the city website. And if, as Daria mentioned, if you don't have your bill handy and you want to take a look at things and you have questions later on, there's several ways to contact folks. But if you have any questions or comments now, okay. I see Nicole Quinn, and I'm going to allow you to speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you both for this presentation. It was really helpful because I hadn't subscribed to the program before and I didn't have enough information, and this was exceptionally informative. I think that you may have mentioned this, but I just want to clarify, is this program something that Gloucester as a municipality officially stamps as something that it supports?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So just a little history and background.
Yes, that'd be great.
Yeah. So when we were thinking about doing this, probably 5 or 6 years ago, the concept of it was presented to then Mayor Carolyn Kirk, as well as the City Council, and working with the Clean Energy Committee. What we first had to do was develop a program that was accepted by the Department of Public Utilities. And then we really worked with Good Energy to find the best opportunity to go to bid, to get the most competitive pricing, and also with the features that were identified in our program, looking for those rates that would also incorporate additional renewable energy. So over the course of the last 3 years, and one of the things that you see on the bottom of every slide, it's a requirement of the Department of Public Utilities, and it's also just because these markets are very volatile. There's no guaranteed savings, but the 3-year program that just wrapped up performed very well. There's definitely a net savings over the 3-year period to every account that was enrolled in the program. And I think we're setting off to a pretty good head start here with, 3.7 cents per kilowatt less than the National Grid basic rate. And as Daria mentioned, it fluctuates. The National Grid has 2 rates per year. So the summer rate is generally lower, and there are times when the negotiated rate, if you choose basic or the Gloucester Green rate, might be higher than the National Grid rates, particularly in the summer months when they are generally lower. But over the course of a year or over the course of the 3-year period, it's performed pretty well. And with some of those tea leaves of these energy prices do not seem like they're coming down. I think we hit it at a really good time when we negotiated these rates. So again, right now we're in a really good position for these winter months, where everyone that's enrolled would certainly see a net gain or savings over that period.
Thank you. And all you have to do to enroll is either call the number or email this vst@constellation.com.
Yep. You can also go to the website if you prefer. It's a little easier because, if you're good on web forms, you have to type in your account number. You have to type in, there's a code, there's a 4-digit code that's on your National Grid bill.
Okay.
That is also needed because we need to know who you are, right? And where you're getting electricity service. So it's a little easier to do it on the website because then less chance for error, but you can also always call the supplier and speak to a human on the phone or email them.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
Great.
Okay, I see a P. Clancy, and I'm going to allow you to speak. Okay, should be able to unmute. I think it's the last name Clancy.
Yeah, did that help?
There you go.
Thanks.
We can hear you.
Daria. Much appreciated. Conceptually, is the 100% option, is that 0 carbon emissions? And kind of a 2-part question. The second part is, if more participants end up going to these options, will over time the pricing come down?
Yeah, so let me address the first one first. So in the 100% option, you're getting 100% of your electricity matched with renewable sources, but we also have to meet the state standards. And some of the state standards have, I think it's waste to energy, so there'll be some emissions there. So it's not a full 0, but it's a very strong move towards demanding more renewable energy, which then demands more supply of renewable energy, which then makes us build more renewable energy. So for the 100% option, that's a really strong, powerful move forward. So your second question, and so it's an interesting one because what we've seen, there's 2 parts to your electricity to these rates that I'm showing here, or not showing here, but I presented earlier. There's 2 parts to the rates. There's the rate for electricity, and then there's the rate for the renewable energy that we're adding on top. And what is interesting in the renewable energy market is that with I'm sure you've heard that Massachusetts is looking to build some offshore wind. And in fact, it has been looking to build some offshore wind for some number of years, and there's some uncertainty about how soon we can get it. And that, because the offshore wind is such a strong and a large amount of electricity that could be coming from these renewable sources, it has really affected the market much more than maybe any one of our individual supply choices would. Now, having said that, what is really important is that, even though 10% additional, as I mentioned, in Gloucester's local green product doesn't sound like a lot. You have to remember there's 10,000 people getting 10% more renewable electricity. And as I mentioned, there's over 160 programs in Massachusetts. Now, not all of them are doing what Gloucester is doing by adding more renewable energy, but more and more, that is where people are going. So there is more and more demand for renewable energy, which means there's more supply, or there is a need for more supply. And so it becomes that, renewable energy is truly a demand and supply market. The more we demand, the more supply is met. And so there's this pull and push. So depending kind of on when you are buying your electricity, and again, Gloucester was very lucky, went out at just the right time. I mean, this is what we do at Good Energies. We work to make sure we're taking our customers out to buy their electricity at just the right time. But in overall, depending on when you're going out to buy that electricity, if you're in a place where there's a lot of demand but not enough supply, then your rate might be higher. But if now something like offshore wind comes on and you have more supply, then the price might be lower. So there's a lot of, yes, our individual actions make a big difference because they become collective actions in both the 100%, buying the 100%, or both buying the 10, staying in the 10% option. But also there is this other market that kind of has this like pull and tug on the price.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, Catherine.
Go ahead.
Hi, good evening. So this is Glenn Morris. I'm sitting here with Catherine.
Hi.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah,
2 for 1, 2 for 1.
It's great.
very much for that presentation. And just to say, we have been customers on the previous program or the current program, and we signed up for the new program for the 100%.
100%, yeah.
Great.
So I want to really, encourage and congratulate Gloucester for having taken the step to make this offer available and to do all the work to check that it's a good offer and that the citizens and customers are getting a good deal. But I think the thing I'm interested is to hear what are the trends that you're seeing in terms of, and what feedback to customers to say, what is their carbon footprint? Where is this electricity, or from where the certificate's coming from? And what are the trends that you want to see? I think the second part, which I think would be helpful, is what are the trends for those who are not on the program as a marketing exercise to say, this is, as you've indicated, the costs to the customers who have been on the program have been lower over the last 3 years. But we're not seeing that on any graph or any graphic to help understand that one of the fundamental things about renewable energy is the price is fixed, actually. Once you've spent the money on the wind turbine, the price is predictable for the life of the wind turbine. And secondly, that the trends with wind turbines and solar panels and biogas is everything's going down in cost over time. And so these trends are very interesting. And I think that would help to market the program and to explain to customers and non-customers of the green program what those trends might look like for them.
Yeah, I'm happy to take this one. So I think you had 2 questions in there. So the first question is, where's this electricity coming from? So as you know, Gloucester has the 2 large turbines, and so far the city's program in that additional, that plus 5% as it was in the previous contract, and then whoever signed up for the 100%, their 100%, those were coming from 1 turbine, 1 output of the turbine. And now with adding 10%, we expect that now annually, Gloucester will be using the output, the renewable energy output of both of those turbines. So what does that mean, as far as market shifts? Well, though that extra renewable energy from that second turbine was going somewhere, now wherever it was going is going to have to look for more renewable energy from somewhere, from another source. And all of this is very, it's regulated. There's these things called mass class 1 renewable energy certificates that you get when you generate a megawatt of electricity, et cetera, et cetera. So, there is this, like, Gloucester is buying more, so therefore we have more renewable energy that is in demand. So that's the renewable energy piece. So I actually spend a great deal of my time marketing programs like this and doing different campaigns with lots of different communities who want people to know. And I'm going to be honest with you, there is no silver magic, silver bullet magic wand or anything else that we can wave and let everybody all at once know that there's 100% option and get them to sign up for it. What we do know works really well and is really effective is word of mouth communication. People telling other people that they are signed up, and you can insert, like, I signed up for the 100% option, and then insert your reason, right? I signed up for my grandchildren, I signed up for my children, I signed up because I'm really concerned about climate, I signed up for this, whatever your reason is. I signed up because I signed up for the program because I got savings. Whatever your reason is, 3 sentences. I signed up for the program because it's this to me, personally, right? And then a link with where you can sign up. So if you go to the gloucester-ca.com website, you'll see there's a link, you can click on the enroll page and you could send that to your friend. It takes less than 5 minutes to sign up. The crux is you just need your energy, you need your national grid bill. That's where most people stumble. And so because some people stumble on that, I do this to my friends all the time, remind them in 2 weeks, hey, I sent the email, I'll let you know about this program. Did you have a chance to sign up? Did you ever look for it? And, take a look at it. Did you, do you have any questions? And what I will say is I really appreciate your time here tonight. And I appreciate that you're here. And I hope that you will take the information that we've shared today and share it with others who may not have been able to attend, so that they also know the city is doing this great program. Are you sure you signed up? So that is a really, really powerful way that you can influence people around you, your neighbors, your friends, your family, anybody who's in Gloucester. And if you have other people in Massachusetts, the chances are becoming now really, really good that they also live in a community that has a program like this one that also has a 100% option. That's becoming much more the norm, whether or not people add renewable electricity to their default product. Most everybody has a 100% option in their program. So another thing that people could try to change the landscape in Massachusetts.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. Thanks for that answer.
The only thing I would add to that is, we as a city, began this program 3 years ago and have taken other actions related to energy efficiency in municipal buildings, electrifying our inspectional vehicle fleet. And we're kind of taking a half step back. So I'd love for anybody that's on the call to stay engaged. We just started a planning effort this past late fall called the Climate Action and Resilience Plan, where we are actually trying to look at the entire kind of footprint of the city as a whole, not just the municipal side, but also the residential and business side of things, and develop strategies and as to how everyone can participate if they choose to do so. And this highlighting this program is certainly one of the options that we'll be making sure that we have good education on, to really let people know what they might want to do or participate in going forward. So it's definitely, we're trying to take the different activities that we've been doing and kind of bring them back in and really kind of develop a more robust strategy. As there's lots of initiatives to get communities to get to net zero. And we're trying to go through the deeper dive for people to understand where we are and then how we can actually get there and how everyone can participate in it. So definitely take a look out for agendas for the Clean Energy Commission. There'll also be some public forums probably beginning in the months of January, February, and March of this year, if you're interested.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks very much, Greg. Thank you.
Thanks.
And are there any other questions? Our attendee list is starting to drop. Okay. It looks like we've exhausted questions. Again, we'll make this presentation available through the city website. And again, if you come into contact with anybody that couldn't make it this evening, or has any questions, those contact either the website is probably the best place to send them, Gloucester-CEA.com, where all this information is also available. But we'll try to keep it kind of high on the city website so that folks can find it pretty readily. And I don't know if you have any other closing remarks, Daria?
No, that's it. Just I think do someone you love a favor and or someone you know a favor and let them know about this great program so they can participate also and ensure that their bill, that they know what they're getting for their electricity.
Great job,
Okay.
guys.
Thank you
Thank
both.
you. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a good evening.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Thank you.
Take care.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.